Want the easiest way to supercharge your chili pepper plants? You need to watch this video. Welcome back, my name is Sean, also known as ChilliChump, and this is the beginner's guide to growing chili peppers. Today we're going to be getting our hands dirty, quite literally. I'm going to be sharing with you my soil mix recipe. Unlike a food recipe, I'm not giving you measurements here in weight. I'm going to be doing it in parts. That makes it easy to scale this up and down as you need. I grow hundreds and hundreds of chili plants, so I actually mix my soil inside a cement mixer. It makes it a lot easier. But if you have fewer plants, you can do it in a bucket, and that's what we're going to do today. So a spoon like this will do the job, but I think this one will be just fine. Whatever you're going to use the same thing throughout the measurements, and that'll make it nice and easy. It's all relative to each other, and it doesn't have to be exact, but try and keep the ratios the same. First up is compost, plain compost. This is the backbone of our mix. Compost is basically decomposed organic material, and it provides essential nutrients and structure to our mix. 10 parts of that. Next up, 1 part vermiculite. Vermiculite basically is tiny porous rocks that strike a perfect balance between absorbing excess moisture but also providing aeration in your soil. We're going to put 1 part of that, so that's literally 1 scoopful. 1 part perlite. Now perlite is a volcanic rock. This one adds airiness to the mix, so it allows the roots to drain, not sit in water, because chili plants do not like soggy roots. So just 1 part of that. 1 part vermicompost or chicken manure. Now I'm going to be using chicken manure here because I've actually used up all my vermicompost, but vermicompost is really easy to make. It is the leftover waste from worms, and I would recommend starting your own little vermicomposting solution because it's fantastic stuff. We're going to be using some chicken manure that should be easily accessible for you. 1 part of that. 1/4 to 1/2 part of fish blood and bone. Now this stuff is fantastic. A lot of people leave this out for some reason, but the one thing that it really adds, besides it's very nutrient dense, is calcium, and calcium is hugely important at the early stages of your plant, especially when you're creating the soil mix. Adding calcium at a later stage is not very easy. So 1/4 to 1/2 part of fish blood and bone. Next up is my secret weapon for that amazing deep green foliage that you see later in my season, and that is Epsom salts. This is magnesium sulfate, and it helps with chlorophyll production, which is obviously resulting in that deep green, but also enables the plant to have a lot more vigor. Really good stuff. You don't need a lot, 0.1 part, and that's more than enough. This last ingredient is a fairly recent addition to my soil mix. A few years ago I started using it, and it is fantastic. It is mycorrhizal fungi. These beneficial fungi are like tiny farmers for your plants. They form a network around the roots and help break down organic matter. So it'll keep on breaking down the compost that's in there. It makes the nutrients more available to the plant, and in some cases they can even help fix nitrogen from the air, essentially creating its own fertilizer. So later on in the season, this can really help give a little bit of a nitrogen boost when the plant needs it most. You really do not need a lot with this, so we'll just take a tip of a spoon. I mean, literally there, that's not even 0.1 part. This stuff, well, it's alive, so it will actually self-propagate. Just make sure it's enough that it can mix into your soil mix. Just mix it up well. Make sure everything is properly mixed up in there, and you're good to go. Look at that beautiful soil mix. Why does this soil mix work so well? I think number 1, it's down to perfect drainage mixed with a great soil moisture retention. It's a good balance there with the perlite and the vermiculite that enables the plant's roots not to sit there in water and get all soggy. Chili plants do not like that. You will get terrible results if you're overwatering your plants, and that can show in a few different ways, whether you are actually physically overwatering them or if it's just sitting inside too much water for too long. In between watering, your plants need to breathe through their roots somewhat. Next up is the rich nutrients. This is packed dense with nutrients. Things like the fish blood and bone are slow release and provide so many great macro and micronutrients. Then you've got compost, which on its own is fantastic. Mixed in then with the chicken manure or vermicompost preferably. And not only have you got those macro and micronutrients, but you've also got those soil enriching microbes that are inside that, especially on the vermicompost side if you are making your own vermicompost. And lastly, disease prevention. With the awesome balance of macro and micronutrients we have in here, as well as the excellent drainage, and on top of that, the beneficial microbes, beneficial bacteria, and the mycorrhizal fungi, all that combined is going to help you have much healthier plants that's going to be able to fend off common diseases, things like blossom end rot. Do not use this with very young seedlings. If you are going to be using this mix, leave out the fish blood and bone and the chicken manure or vermicompost, and also probably the Epsom salts. Once you pot up beyond that early seedling stage, then yeah, go full hog. This will do amazing for you. Don't feed your plants at least for about a month and a half after potting up with the soil mix. This soil mix is very rich and your plant will have everything it needs, at least for that first month to month and a half, depending on your growing conditions, size of pot, things like that. With the soil mix, you're going to be set up for success from the get-go. I hope that you have a wonderful season, and until the next video, thank you so much for watching and stay spicy.